Here we are going over our converting fractions to decimals. And on the front side, we are converting the fractions to decimals. And then on the back, we'll be converting the decimals back to fractions. We see up at the top, it shows us our place value chart. We have a tens place, the ones place, and the decimal point, then the tenths, then the hundredths. And that tells us where the number kind of ends. So for example, we have 53 hundredths, so I have no 1, so I have the 0, my decimal point. Then I have 53, and my number has to end in that hundredths place, so I know it's just a 53. The first one, I have 5 hundredths, so I have no whole numbers in my decimal point. Then that 5 needs to be in the hundredths place, which means I need to put a 0 in the tenths place. So there's 5 hundredths. Number 2, 7 tenths. I have no whole numbers, and I have a 7 in my tenths place. Number 3, I have 0 and 55 hundredths. Number 4, we have 24 hundredths. And number 5 is 92 hundredths. Number 6 is at 2 hundredths, so because I have nothing in the tenths, 0. Then we have 66 hundredths. 2 tenths, so the 2 in the tenths place, nothing in the hundredths place. If you put the 0 here, that's not wrong. It just isn't showing 2 tenths, it's showing 20 hundredths. So we want to practice just writing that 2 tenths right now. Number 9, these are the trickier ones because we need to remember that 0. So I have a 0 in the tenths place and the 1 in the hundredths. 4 tenths, so I don't even get to the hundredths place. 9 tenths. 45 hundredths. 8 hundredths, so that's 0 in the tenths place. And this shows how different 8 tenths is from 8 hundredths. That's why we need that 0 there. And same for this next one. This one shows 3 hundredths with nothing in that tenths place. And this one is 3 tenths. So they need to look different. 5 tenths. Number 18, we're at 4 hundredths. Then we have 29 hundredths and 74 hundredths. On the back, we are taking the decimals and writing the fractions. The idea is the same. We see where the number ends with its place value, and that's my denominator. And the number goes on the top. So this first one, I have 1 tenth. So my bottom number is 10 because it ends in the tenths place, and the number there is 1. If this 0 were to have another number, that would be our whole number out front. Okay. So 95 hundredths. That's my denominator. 95 is my numerator. Number 3, I had 4 hundredths. Number 4, 6 tenths. So 6 tenths. Number 5 is 6 hundredths. So again, that denominator is that place value spot on where the number is. That decimal number is my numerator when I'm talking about tenths and hundredths. So 45 hundredths, 30. 51 hundredths. This one you could do one of two ways. It's showing 20 hundredths, but if you wanted to, you could have written 2 tenths because there's nothing in that hundredths place. That 0 isn't needed. Number 11 is 3 tenths. And if you wrote all the tenths as hundredths with that 0, so if you wrote 30 hundredths, I'm okay with it, but I want to practice writing it as a tenth. Then we have 7 hundredths, 41 hundredths, 7 hundredths, 55 hundredths, 22 hundredths, 5 tenths. We have 4 tenths, 9 tenths, and 8 tenths. So that goes back and forth on our converting fractions to decimals review.